Hey folks, welcome back to another From the Armory podcast with Murph and Lassiter, a 3rd Battalion 1st Marine Association production and Brent Womack production.
Brent Womack, LLC.
LLC.
Yeah.
Got those letters in there. A little different setup today probably for y'all. We're back inside my downstairs, I don't know what we call this, office. I call it a landing. But anyway, so we're down here. It's a little chilly outside. So we moved from the garage to here. Eventually, studios. We're working on it.
Yeah. I thought we decided to call it Firebase Nuge.
Yeah. I mean, that's the place we're at. Mm-hmm. Downstairs in that firebase.
And the back room, since it's the gun room, is the Armory. The Armory for Firebase Nuge. Which ideally you would like to have your Armory within 4 hours of the drop of the hat.
Right.
So yeah, folks. Again, welcome. We're in beautiful sunny Indiana, where I think it's a blistering 24 degrees outside.
It is sunny though.
It is sunny.
So that much, that is accurate.
So we have been out in a couple times, just enough to get dry, chapped, cracked skin on our hands.
Both of us. I'm glad to know it's not just a me problem.
No, I think it might just be a guy problem. We're terrible. Because wash your hands and no lotion. The ladies have
at least we wash our hands.
Yeah. That was
I'm like this because I'm clean.
It was pre-COVID too.
Yeah, so for sure.
You handle your junk, you need to put some soap and water to it.
I never handle my own junk.
Yeah, well, the end. I mean, you know what? We got a lot of stuff to get in.
We've got people for that.
So yeah, and as we typically derail each other, we're going to try to stay on program. We got later on in the show, we have Jason Kyle with RisQ Apparel. So he'll be on with us, so we're super stoked about that. Been a long time coming, a lot of scheduling issues. I think we originally had him scheduled for 2 weeks ago, and then Tennessee had a really bad snowstorm, which kind of dictated that I hung out at the Armory instead of shooting down here, which in retrospect was a good idea based on the amount of accidents and whatnot that they had.
Yeah, I think you made the right call on that.
So we're going to do our standard show. We're not going to go too fast with it just to get to Jason, although we're definitely stoked, looking forward to it. However, it may run a little long today. Just bear with us. It will be worth it. Jason will be telling us about starting up his own company, working for different companies, transitioning from the Marine Corps to the civilian sector, and his success and failures and trials and tribulations along the way. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, he's a veteran entrepreneur. A word that gets thrown around a lot anymore is entrepreneur, but he actually does run I think he co-runs a business.
He co-runs. I think he has a couple of partners in that.
Yeah. So, but either way, he's definitely a veteran success story. So we're stoked to have him on. He was an excellent Marine, great friend, and we haven't talked to him in a good while now. So it'd be cool to have him on. Yeah. So we gotta get down to some business before that happens. So we'll be talking about that and move on.
Yeah, a couple of new things going on. I know most of you have, we started the Facebook group page, went from private to public. That turned out to be pretty good. The only thing I got to say about that, we definitely appreciate the engagement. We like the group experts stepping up to drop their knowledge. Anytime you feel like you want to drop knowledge, you don't need the title group expert beside your profile name if you have some decent gouge to drop. We appreciate it.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, it's the internet. Everybody thinks they know more than the next guy about it. So if you think you do, go ahead and prove it.
Yeah.
Or set yourself up for ridicule.
It's the internet. Yeah, be prepared to answer. If somebody asks you a question and you answer it. I like the way Terry James, during his introduction, he says hey, no fluff.
Yeah.
I won't BS you. If I don't know the answer, I'll get you the answer, which is standard Marine Corps response.
And that is a non-fluffy boy.
Yeah, not fluffy.
He is pretty damn.
He's yoked.
Yeah, he's yoked. Terry's a good horseman.
Terry's a good dude. We don't always, just like anybody else, we don't always agree. But, hell, I've known you 20 years. We don't always agree.
No, what did we find out today? There was something that you said that
Jelly donuts.
Jelly donuts. I'm like, really?
I like the only kind of donut that I really enjoy is people like their glaze or their Boston cream or
custard filled
or chocolate. Is nope. The only donut that gets me excited is seeing preferably a raspberry jelly donut, but jelly donut.
Okay.
So, but if you drop a raspberry jelly donut in front of me, you have my full attention. So it's been a while since I've had a donut with all the
COVID.
No. Leslie makes sure I try to eat healthy. I do a lot of training. We both do a lot of training, so I know you have your meals. Do you still do the meal prep?
Yes, I'm picking them up tomorrow. I'm glad you said that because
Remind me.
going back to doing that. I
That's what I'm
took about a month off of it before Christmas.
So going back to the group, we have like 295 members and growing. What's weird though is we have 191 subscribers on the YouTube page, but 295 members in the group. Mm-hmm. So if you would jump on to if you haven't subscribed already, to our YouTube page from the Armory with Murph and Lassiter, go ahead and jump on there and subscribe. That way you won't miss an episode. If you enjoy our incoherent ramblings from time to time, and then with the hopes that we may say something that's worth the shit, jump on there and subscribe, and it'll go right straight to your YouTube notifications as far as the pages that you subscribe to. But you know this.
And it's not all quality content. You're not going to agree with everything we say, but tune in for the shit you might.
No, but we still love you.
Yeah.
We still love
you.
you.
We did do a podcast last night, actually.
We helped Todd with his Toddcast.
Todd Hunt, TM Hunt Custom Knives. I'm looking at the sticker right now. Did the Toddcast, so that was cool. Johnny got to step back behind the production table and do that in Spencer's stead, and I think it turned out pretty well. We rambled on for a little over an hour, so if you're interested in knives or two other morons talking for a while, go tune into that one too.
Yeah, it's the Toddcast, and you can find that on Spotify.
Apple, Spotify, I think all that stuff, or Apple, whatever you call it, iTunes or something.
Any major platform. And I try to step in for, I'm no Spencer, that is for sure. I'm not even a 3/4 of a Spencer when it comes to...
He'll appreciate that.
Yeah, when it comes to production value. No.
Hey, I guess we should say too, Happy New Year.
Yeah,
we haven't recorded one since, end of December?
This is our first podcast of the new year. It's 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, so Happy New Year. Hope it's treating you well. And if it's not, well, I don't give a shit.
Well, then make it treat you well.
Hope it gets better. Yeah. Stand up and take charge and whatnot. Make this year your bitch.
So what else we got coming up for, we'll say we're in January, about to roll into February, first podcast in the new year, but in February we have Warrior Union Foundation's Hump Day.
Yep, Warrior Union Foundation, WRF. You'll see us, we posted about it. It's, they're good dudes, run by combat vets. I think they're all Marines.
Yeah.
I know Bart is, and the rest of them.
The major one that we've ever.
Yeah, the ones we met, I know are combat vets. And really great dudes, running a cool business model there to reunite veterans. I know that was good for us, right? We got to go down and, they organized the 3-1 association, or 3-1.
The one in Texas.
Yeah, the one we did in Texas a while back. And that was awesome. We went to another one that they sponsored in Tennessee. That was the Mogadishu Marines that you guys have seen on here.
Yep.
So really awesome stuff. They get Gold Star families and veterans connected, reconnected. We hadn't seen a lot of those guys in 15 years.
See what happens if you actually hold a reunion in a state other than California, or at least halfway through the distance. We'll show up.
And it's 501c3, so feel good about where your money's going. They're not turning a profit on this shit. But anyway, that I think it's also, this Hump Day serves as their 5th anniversary as a business.
I believe so.
I think it's something like that. And I think this is the 3rd Hump Day they've done. And we went to all of them.
Yeah, we've done our own. Either as
official
as a
capacity the first time, and then the second time we were catchers, and then
unofficially.
Yeah, unofficially. That's not a cool term, I know, but
we're not doing that this year.
No. We're cruising. Now we're not gonna say screw your fellow man, but if the guy falls back and his buddies are cruising up ahead, well, they didn't stay for him either. So
yeah, based on the variety of our audience now, we might want to define what a catcher is.
That's what I'm saying. I know it's not a cool term.
A catcher is the term used.
Listening, but
And if we do, we're
sure used to.
You know what? Hey, we'll go ahead and tell you what a catcher is in our terminology, which is, or in our world, which
like
is
when you have a reunion, a race, a marathon. You have your rabbit, right, that everybody's chasing,
and your sweepers.
Basically, we were sweepers.
We were sweepers.
We had an individual, and dude had heart. I'll give him that. He fell back, and we stayed with him. So, or I stayed with him, and you you kind of ran like interference so that I knew where the route was.
Yeah,
because people were pushing so far ahead, and this dude was just.
If I didn't run, in some cases, based on my, just rough estimate, 400 meters, so approximately quarter of a mile. If I didn't run a quarter mile up and then back, I burned a lot of calories that day.
Yeah.
Just to see what it, because they'll turn right on the route, and they had a safety vehicle, but the safety vehicle stayed with the main body. So which was odd. We're not gonna, and it's only 4 miles this year, not the 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So we should be okay.
So if you're local and you want to go, this will be out before then. February 26th is the Hump Day, and it's in West Lafayette, Indiana. If you can't make it and you still want to participate, there's a virtual event. It's just sign up. You can throw it on social media, hashtag it. I think Hump Day, WRF or WRF Hump Day, whatever it is.
It tells you on the site.
Yeah, it'll tell you on the site, and we can link that below, or Brent can throw it in there if he would, please. And we'll have that information for you, so you guys can sign up. And you can even just donate if you don't want to hump, and really, you can say you're doing the virtual and then not do it as an honor system, but you throw your money down. The money still goes to reuniting veterans with their groups that they served with, and the Gold Star families and things like that. And man, it's totally worth it. It was definitely therapeutic for a lot of folks at ours. I know we had a hell of a time there. It was great. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that can continue to be successful for them.
Let's see. Oh, you know what else? Oh, I forgot. I didn't want to go to January and February and back to January, but you know what else happened in January?
January? No.
Mm-hmm. My fiance got to see. Well, she's been in North Carolina before, but she got to see my hometown for the first time. I was born in Durham, North Carolina, but I spent a majority of my childhood in what's called Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. So
what is it?
Roanoke Rapids.
Roanoke Rapids,
North Carolina. So she got a chance to go out to see the sprawling metropolis that is Roanoke Rapids.
And that's you said it's the rock bass capital of the world?
Rockfish, and that actually leads me to my next one. Weldon, North Carolina, where my mother is from, and what we're drinking today is Weldon Mills Distillery single cut bourbon. And
with these cool little whiskey stones.
And I know we said we are going to nurse it, for the sake of it is delicious. And that distillery again is Weldon Mills Distillery.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you can zoom in on that or not, but that's amazing. That's good stuff. It's what's called Soldier's Cut.
Soldier's Cut. The
Weldon's fantastic.
The backstory is Weldon Mills Distillery, just like a lot of distilleries. It was started by an Army veteran and his lawyer friend.
Okay.
So
got to have a lawyer involved.
Yep. And he started that distillery, and it's doing really well. Took Leslie by there. We saw it, just cruising around Weldon, which is the rockfish capital of the world.
Rockfish. Okay.
Yeah, rockfish capital.
Rock bass. I don't know anything about fish.
And also the hometown of my dear mother.
No.
So that was kind of cool. So, but that happened in January. She enjoyed it. She's met my family before. They've come up to Tennessee or come over to Tennessee and to visit, but she got a chance to actually meet a lot of my cousins, and she got to meet one uncle. As the older you get, and he is like it is, because my namesake Johnny Willis Lassiter had passed away like a year ago, so she didn't get the opportunity to meet him, but she did get to meet my uncle Ed, which is my middle name is Edmund, and I was named after. It was Johnny Edmund Lassiter, after my dad's 2 brothers. So that's the.
How far is that away from where you're at currently? Like, is that a 8-hour drive, 6 hour?
8.5 hour drive.
Okay, that's what I figured.
So not too bad. I call it comfortable distance. I get to go to any major event, but if I don't, if I can't go to like every birthday or second cousins, whatever, it's they completely understand because of the distance. So it's a comfortable distance where if something went sideways or completely off paper, I would have no issue getting there, either flying or driving. So
don't have that excuse. Everybody in my family is like within 30 minutes.
Yeah, outside the 4 years in the Marine Corps, this is where you've been your whole life, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I have no excuse to not show up to stuff. That didn't stop me from not showing up, but
we're gonna.
That's fine.
I might have to.
I have the ability of not driving this time, so I can stay here. I just got to be able to go with my kid later.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a problem.
That is smooth drinking. So
yes, sir.
Leslie got me this little gift kit that came with the glasses and the little whiskey cubes that you freeze, and I didn't even know it came with coasters and little.
This is a bachelor's house, so I'm not worried about fucking coasters. But
now we're using. I put the coasters back, and I was like, look, we don't need coasters because space is limited.
Yep.
So that happened in January. We talked about February. Other things we have coming up, the FTA is actually going to sponsor. It's called the Vietnam War Ruck Challenge, and that's going to go. By the time this recording comes out, that event will have been posted on Facebook. I think I'm going to post that tonight.
We got a cool picture for that too that Brent can flash up here as well.
Yeah.
The patch that you would receive if you sign up.
And what that entails is it's basically a fundraiser for the Vietnam Veterans of America, another nonprofit. And what we're going to do is going to be roughly an 18 to 24 hour endurance event. It involves rucking, moving sandbags, a lot of physical put out, a little bit of mental put out, and that's going to be actually ran by my good friend Go Ruck cadre Aaron Han. My apologies, Andre Han.
Andre Han.
I don't know why. Was I thinking Andre 2000 and then?
I think you were thinking the Giant.
Andre the Giant. So, although Aaron is a big man in heart, no, he's not anywhere near the
Andre the Giant, baby.
Exactly. So that's going to go on March 12th. That's going to be $35. Those payments will be, you'll see it on the event page, how you pay for it, what the gear list is for it. And the biggest thing is FTA, ate a lot of the cost for the patches and of course the beer at the end. Aaron locked on the physical challenges, so pretty much everything that you put into it is going to go, just about all of it actually, is going to go to the Vietnam Veterans of America Foundation, which is really cool. So it's a lot of times those vets or those families involved by that conflict, don't get they're just what they deserve. So we're just going to bring a little bit of shine a little light on that war.
Now that's on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Day, right?
I'm not sure. I know that Vietnam kicked off in March. Yeah, I think that's why we're doing it. And it depends on who you ask. Actually. It lasted, if you count Tonkin 64, which is the Gulf of Tonkin, the first one. And we're not going to get too much into the politics of it, whether one or two happened, but the one that we know for a fact happened in 64. The first ground troops, 3,500 of the United States' finest Marines in 65, so which rolled a conflict on to roughly 8-9 years, depending on who you're asking, in March of 73 or April of 73. Mm-hmm. What doesn't change, depending on who you're asking, is the loss of life. Is like 58,200 plus U.S. service members lost their lives, and another 618,000 are affected by it still today. So that's the estimated survivors of that war, and that's what we're paying homage to. We will have guest speakers there. There's going to be free swag from. This is in partnership with Team RWB out of Clarkville, Fort Campbell. So they're locking on a lot of logistic for us, which is awesome. Jimmy Weiser and his team. There's going to be swag from RWB. There's going to be some stuff from 511, Black Rifle Coffee, and a few more. That is, if you want to know what they are or who they are, just show up. If you're local, we understand a lot. A lot of our listeners are not in the general Tennessee area, but if you're close to within 2 to 3 hours and it's not that big of a deal to drive for you, you will have fun. So at the end, you get a patch, which you'll see on the site, and a beer. The beer will be I think 333 Export. Which is a beer indigenous to Vietnam. It used to be 33 Export, but they changed it so they can break their Western ties, I believe.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know the reason.
But it's what, Bamiba, you say?
Bamiba, yeah.
Bamiba. There's a song.
I think I told you it was everybody knows, Staff Sergeant Barry Sadler, right? The Battle of the Green Berets. If you look at one of the albums he made, I think it was the album that was released on, not just the single, but the entire album. My dog wants in now. But anyway, it's that was one of those songs that growing up, my dad had made me, listen to the song, and then I started listening to the whole album. He gave it to me, the whole CD, and it had Bamiba was a song on there. And for whatever reason, I think I told you that he told me it was moonshine or like poaching, that they made locally. It turns out it was actually a beer, which made more sense. But it's a really cool song. If you're at the event, you'll hear it, guaranteed. Officially live.
Yep. Hey folks. Well, I have to adjust my chair now. I had to move some stuff around. Hey, as normal things, life happen. We said we're going to get with Jason at the end of the show, but Jason is a very busy man, so we're going to go ahead and, since we have him on the line now, we're going to go ahead and take advantage of that situation so he can get back to his day of making money, making that scratch as a small business owner. Tell us a little something about Mr. Kyle there, Murph.
What do you want me to tell you? You know as much as I do.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you came to First Platoon after I left and stepped in as a, first squad leader?
Second squad.
Second squad. Okay. So you would have had, can you tell us, I guess, who you had in your chain of command? Immediate.
Immediate chain command, Lieutenant Summers, platoon commander, Gunnery Sergeant Hackett was the platoon sergeant. So yeah, I got the first platoon right before we went to I think it was March Air Force Base.
Yeah, for the mount training.
You guys want to know a funny true story?
Absolutely.
Real quick. So, and then we can digress back to where we're going. So before I left embassy duty, my deck commander told me, he was like, hey, when you get back to the fleet, you're not going to have time to train with your Marines. So, hey, get to know your Marines. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I didn't really know what that fucking meant. I'll tell you how I learned that. We were at March Air Force Base. I had just got there. And something was happening. So my squad, we were doing something. And I yelled out something, and nothing happened. And guess who? Sergeant Lassiter yelled out something totally unrelated to my squad, and my entire squad did what he said. I'm like, shit, my Marines don't even know my voice. They don't even know who I am. And from that moment, I made an effort to get to know, especially my team leaders. Hey, if I at least get to know these guys, and that's just a trickle effect. But that's a true statement. I don't think I ever told you that story, Lassiter, but
no, I never knew that story. I didn't even I can't recall it at all. I was like, I didn't mean to step on your dick, but I probably got pissed off because I saw a lictor across the way and it was a sergeant, and I was like, you must be out of your fucking mind. So
yeah.
Let me jump in. You know the sergeant mentality. Let me help you out there.
Yeah, help out. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's actually a cool story. I'm sure that's probably happened to me through my career too. The how long did you stay in? Did you do your 8? I know you stayed in long enough to pick up sergeant.
I did 12. So I did my first 4 at Lejeune. I was with 3-6 Lima Company, 1st Platoon, 2nd Squad. And then I went embassy duty. So I did a year in Moscow, and then did a little over 2.5 years in Colombia. Then I came to 3-1, left there, and went to Quantico to the basic school. I was a combat instructor company. Wasn't real sexy.
A thankless job, I'm sure.
It was, you were, fighting boredom one blank at a time, shooting at the new lieutenant.
That sounds like a dream job, actually.
It was a little bit better than that. They actually started using the Marines like they should have. Some of the sergeants, were out there actually instructing. I was out there instructing for some of the different exercises they had. But I think, they definitely could have used the Marines a little bit better. I had a platoon of 57 guys. I only had 3 Lance Corporals. The rest were Corporals and Sergeants. So a ton of knowledge, within the platoon. And it just wasn't being utilized properly. So I hated it, to be honest.
Now, tell us about your time at 3-1. You told a cool story at the end. And, pretty much as soon as you got there, we kicked off to head to Iraq for operations there. Yeah, I do recall that. So tell us.
I mean, I got there, and I want to say the middle of May or whatever. So I think I had a month in the U.S. before we left to go overseas. So it was a cluster. I had orders to 3-1, and then I checked in to division. They sent me to 1-1. I was over there for maybe 4 days before they sent me to 3-1, which I'm glad I went to 3-1. That was my original intent, so I'm glad I did it. So very quick workup before we went to Iraq. And then I don't know how much you guys want to get into that, but I think for me, a couple eye-opening moments was first day I was introduced to my squad. So I had a Marine there. I was like, hey, you have a Marine that's not here yet. You know, we don't know when he's going to get here. They're talking about, you know, Brad Adams. And then from there, I met Stokes, and Stokes was like, hey, hey, Sergeant, you want to know why I'm a private? I'm like, no, I really don't care, man. You got to first
Want to hear a story?
And then, you know, Kramer came up to me like right after that. He was like, hey, I want to be the best squad platoon. I'm like, all right, man. So after he said that, we went to go PT. And then my biggest things was, you know, knowledge and PT. The rest of the stuff was going to come to us, but I wanted us to kind of know everything. I wanted everybody to be a radio operator, you know, not, you know, full on, you know, radio operator, but everybody needed to hold their own in the radio. And everybody needed to be physically fit enough to be able to like medevac somebody, you know, just in case somebody got hurt. You know, those were big things for me. The training was going to come, you know, like we were going to get our training. We were going to debrief. We did, my squad, I was big on the debrief. I always felt like the debrief was the most important part of the mission. That's where the learning occurs. So there went to the prison with you fine jets.
We had a fine room there. It was fine.
It was an infamous prison. Yeah.
The infamous Abu Ghraib prison.
Hey, I don't remember, that went down after or before us, right? Like all the controversy and stuff there, that was before we got there. It wasn't after.
I don't know, Jace. What do you think?
I think that was before.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Not like the dudes fucking getting paraded around. Naked.
Yeah, wearing the weird black hood things and stuff and stacking on top of each other. That was before us.
I think that was before us.
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't mean to derail you. It was just something that came in my head.
And that wasn't Marines. That was, we'll just say other guys. There were other guys.
It was the other folks.
The other guys. So,
yeah.
You know, hey, don't worry, other guys. We still love you. So, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we were there, and I definitely remember. It's like, you know, as far as like having a place to rest your head at night, it wasn't bad. You know, if you had a chance for, and you got to see it too. Is like, we'll just say a guy was in charge of the company at the time, so we didn't spend a lot of time inside of it, which was.
That's correct.
You know, like it didn't matter which squad was up. Myself and Murph were on the gun truck, and it was like, oh, come on. We just got back. It's 120 degrees. It's like, we sit outside. You're going to go have tea with this guy, and he's not going to even care that you're there.
Well, there's a city council, and it's very, very important that we're there. They didn't give a shit if we were there or not. We were there to hand out money. But anyway.
I was almost relieved when we left that area to go, to go break shit. So
yeah, I thought you were gonna say that you were relieved for someone to be relieved.
Oh hell yeah!
Somebody was relieved.
We got the same. You and I got the same conversation from at the time the battalion sergeant major. He pulled us over to the side and was like,
"Yeah, that's right.
Hey, you say what you got to say." And I'm pretty sure I went first. So like I got plenty to say on this, and I know Colonel Buell had talked to the officers, and Sergeant Major had pulled the NCOs to the side. I think he's already talked to the staff NCOs, or maybe he talked to us all at the same time. I just remember that.
No, I think you're right. I think he pulled the NCOs separately.
Yeah. So I think, and that was just to submit the conversations they already had with the officer and the staff NCO corps. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys saw it from like a different. I mean, we all shared sort of the same perspective.
Everybody got some pain, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys were fucking, part of that team. So.
So yeah,
it wasn't a team.
It was not a cheerocracy. It was a cheerdatorship.
Yeah.
So we were definitely with at the time Captain Heatherman, and with Captain Jones. You can ask for a finer set of officers.
Dude.
Right.
So
yeah.
I spent, I finished out my career. I retired in 2013, and I had some fine officers, but I'd be hard pressed to try to come up with two more that were as fine as those gentlemen were. So, and the whole, even the stat, First Sergeant Hertz, and at the time, Gunnery Sergeant Wilson at the company gunning. The staff NCO corps was good, as you mentioned, Hackett and like Adamson and so on and so forth. It was just you and the sergeants. I mean, we had, it's just for that one little hiccup. Other than that, it would have been about as close to perfection as you could get, if that makes sense. As far as
that makes sense.
As far as a company goes. So, and I did some time with, and nothing. I loved 2-7 when I was there. I loved MCRD when I was there. All fine Marines, but it's a totally different barbecue when. And I think I was, that's before I even got a squad or a platoon at that point. So, which set me up for success later on in my career. They were definitely, mentors on my career path. So yeah, 3-1, and then some other units later on, and then you get out after 12 years. And what year was this?
I got out in 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
And then you move into what's next for the infamous Sergeant Kyle after life in the green zone.
After life, let's see. I moved back to California. I would have stayed in the Marines if I could have got back to the West Coast.
That wasn't your home of record, was it? California?
No, Kentucky's my home of record.
Oh, okay. So why Cali?
But my son was out here in California.
Gotcha.
So I was trying with the 0369 monitor. I was trying to get back to California. I didn't care. Penalty 29 Palms. I told him, like, hey, man, just send me to the 1st Deploying Infantry Unit. Like, I just need to be back on the West Coast. Couldn't get the West Coast. My first sergeant even called, and no headway there. So I was like, you know what? I'm calling it quits. So I moved to California. Started going. I got out here in September, and the semester had just started. So I had like 3-4 months to kill before the next semester in community college started. So, I was just fucking lost. Actually, I was just spending time with my son.
Mm-hmm.
I did do one thing. I did a reality TV show. It's called Special Ops Mission or Spec Ops Mission, whatever. You can YouTube that shit. It's actually.
I gotta look it up.
Wait, whoa. No, we're not gonna skip past that shit, Kyle.
Yeah.
So it was. Can I find it on Netflix or Amazon?
It was. I'm sure you could. I've actually never seen the episode. That's why I saw parts of it one day. I was flipping through the channels on TV with my kid. He saw it. He saw me. It was on like the Discovery Channel, Military Channel. So I'm assuming you can probably find it on Netflix. Those streaming apps.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep you engaged while Murph is actually looking.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Keep going.
So
I was on. So I think there were 7 different missions. I was on the one that was Covert Canyon. I think that's how they are categorized. So it's like Spec Ops Mission or I think that's the name of it.
Special Ops Mission?
Special Ops Mission? Yeah, Murph is.
Canyon.
I think I found it.
Now, how many episodes did you do with that?
I only did 1, and they wanted me to go back, but I didn't go back. And I tell you why. Because I was freshly out the Marines at that point, and everybody else that was on the TV show, as far as the Op 4, they had been out for a while. I think we had like one of each service. I think there was a Navy guy. There was another Marine there. Anyway, make a long story short, they were like, we were fighting up against this guy, Will Willis.
We know him.
We know Will Willis
from Forged in Fire.
Yeah.
Former Army Ranger, former pararescueman. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I smoked this cat. Fucking shot his ass up, right? But then, after the show was over, they called me back. It was like, hey, can we film an alternate ending? Because basically they wanted Will to win. So that was like my first taste of like
reality TV,
Hollywood, but like TV. I was like, man, this shit isn't real. Like what else have I been watching that's super fake?
Everything that is on as far as there's hardly any reality in reality TV.
So now that you said that, I remember Andy Stumpf, Cleared Hot, had Will Willis on, and he talked a little bit about this show. I don't know about that episode particularly, but he did talk about the show. I remember that now when you said Will Willis. Yep, that's you can Google that too.
Will Willis, tell him, because dude, it was like, he was in some brush, and I heard him changing magazines, and I just fucking unloaded them into the bushes. I went straight jarhead, man.
Yeah.
And they offered $100, an extra $100 to anybody who to the person, if someone killed Will, they offered $100. I was like, I'm gonna win that $100. Challenge accepted.
I'm
Um,
gonna do it for principal.
I'm a starting student. Hell yeah, I want that $100.
yeah. So that was cool. So I did that. And then I started going to school, just a community college out here in California. I started doing that. There was a lot of struggles there, man. I don't know if you guys went down that road, but I tell you what, man, the little punk ass kids that were in school, like for me it was hard. Like once I got distracted, it was hard to like bring my mind back to what was happening in front of me. You know, like so kids in the back of the classroom talking, like I'm trying to pay attention, like that aggravated me. And I tried to suppress Staff Sergeant Kyle as much as I could. I didn't actually tell people I was a Marine just because at that time I didn't really want to talk about it. Like I knew they would ask questions and I didn't really want to talk about it. And there's certain instances that came out, like there was this one time in class, like this kid was in the back talking. So I just got up and like, dude, you either shut up or I'm gonna shut you the fuck up, And I calmly sat back down. But apparently you can't do that in class.
So who reprimands you at that point? Is that like a dean thing or the teacher, the professor?
The teacher was kind of like, I would say the teacher kind of just said like, oh, I didn't really get in trouble, but he was like, oh, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then he sent everybody on a break. All the other kids like, thank you. Funny stories. I saw this teacher in the gym like 2 years later, and he thanked me for doing that because this kid was disruptive to the whole class.
So it was like good initiative, bad judgment type thing.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of struggles, going to school. I would say going to school itself, I would say it was easier for me to learn because I had the discipline to actually study. Like in high school, I didn't like give a shit. I was like, hey, whatever. I'm just here. I knew what I was doing in high school. I knew I was going to join the Marines, so I wasn't trying to be like a straight A student. I was just trying to, get that diploma.
Right.
After I went to, I was going to community college. So I did 1 year in LA, then I moved to Orange County. Orange County, I started working at this rifle scope company called US Optics. I was there for like 8 years. I did a little bit of everything there, I was in charge of operations. I was in charge of sales for a while, then I was the general manager. That transition, from being in the military to, working full time, that was, it was tough, but luckily, the owners were kind of cool, kind of understanding. It wasn't, I probably wouldn't have got away with the same behavior in like corporate America.
Yeah, right.
Being in a small company helps. I don't even know if I would suggest for most people to like get out and go straight into like corporate America because you may fail to the point where you just get so discouraged. You know what I mean? Like it can set you on a path, where you're going downhill. Like small businesses, medium size, they typically work with you, but you can get shitty ones too. I mean, it's catch-22.
So get like a training wheels company to work for.
Yeah. I mean, you learn a lot. The good thing about small businesses is you kind of learn everything, right? Because everybody's helping everybody. It's like you don't get really locked into, a box. You can make that box as big as you want or as small as you want. So I learned a lot there, because I mean, I did some of everything. I did, marketing. So I didn't know shit about marketing. I didn't know. My first day as a general manager, they came to me. It's like, hey, you got to do a commercial for, a TV show that we were sponsoring. And then I was like, I didn't know how to do a commercial. So go on YouTube, trying to figure it out from that point. And just talking to a bunch of people. Like, don't be afraid to like pick up the phone and call people. Like even within our veteran network, like if you really think about like all the different Marines in 3-1, no matter what you're going to try to do in life, there's probably somebody out there that has done that shit or is doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're just so diverse. Diverse in many different ways. So,
I think we try to do that. I know you're a member too, but when we started and I know you saw it as well, when we started our Facebook page, is we added a bunch of groups experts. I mean, it's a lot of group experts, and I think it's good to get that information out. I mean, ideally the page, and as like what you're saying, it's to help people transition or help people get into other facets of their next career path or their next life inside of the civilian sector. And I think what you said earlier really hit home when you said it's hard. It's hard not only to transition to corporate America. It's hard to transition in general because you have that middle mindset, especially in the I don't know about the other services, but I'm sure it's probably along the same. But it's hard to go from that middle mindset to it is absolutely positively black and white. There is no gray. This is the way you do it. This is the way you execute it. And this is the way the plan works. And then people say if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, the Marine Corps is definitely a huge fan of, like, even though if it looks stupid, sounds stupid, and it probably is stupid, hey, it works. And at the end you go, well, that worked. Well, you try to take that into the civilian sector, whether you're starting a business or going to school or worked as a contract security officer, you like you said earlier, that student in the back of the class that was disruptive, that's everywhere. That's it. Me and Murph were talking about it earlier when we said that there's a lot of stuff in the military that we thought was stupid, but pales in comparison to the shit that we see in the civilian sector. This is the stupidest thing I've seen this week,
dude. There's no HR in the Marine Corps. That's like one of the greatest design features ever about the Marine Corps. There's no HR. You got a problem with somebody? Go to the tree line, work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you come back without a limp, that means you probably won that particular argument. So
like one of the things I hate most now is when somebody says, well, it's not what you said, it's how it was perceived. Well, tell the other person to quit being a fucking bitch. How about that?
Yeah. I perceive that person.
Gone. Everybody's fucking soft, man. You can't even fucking tell jokes anymore, bro.
Nope.
No, and that's the biggest thing is, like, inside the Marine. There's no racism in the Marine Corps. We just you're misinterpreting what we're saying as being racist or sexist or otherwise. We are a band of brothers, and there is no lines of what you can and cannot say. To a point, but you have to know the motherfucker. You just can't roll up. It's like how it is. It's like just for examples, like me and Kyle never got along, but we know each other and we're brothers. We hate each other at the chow hall, but if you fuck with one of us, and we see it, it's like, oh hell no. The only person
then we both hate you.
Then we both hate you, which is what I enjoy. So not trying to,
like, my first 4 years, the majority of the time, it was maybe like me and like 2 other fucking black guys, dark green Marines, if you will.
Dark green. Can we even say? I don't know if we can say that anymore.
Yeah, I was in a small boat company, man. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I was not the best swimmer. I was not a good swimmer at all.
Yeah, you think that's the Marine Corps fucking with you? Black guy, not good swimmer, boom. Now he's in a boat.
Dude, I volunteered because, like,
okay,
when we all checked in at 3-6, they were like, hey, all S2 swimmers get over here, right? And they was like, hey, we still need more volunteers. Like, anybody wants to be in, like...
Anybody want to drown?
I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just knew my buddies were over there, so I was like, shit, I'm going. Dude, I spent the next 3 months in the swimming pool. Like, every Monday and Wednesday that we were back in the rear, I was in the swimming pool with this Staff Sergeant O'Toole, man. This dude spent so much time with me. First of all, I'm kind of amazed. I was like a PFC. Yeah, I was PFC. He didn't have to. He could, like, fuck Kyle. He's not going to cut it, get the hell out of here. But this dude spent a shit ton of time. I'm pretty sure that when I passed that swim call, I wasn't the only kid in the swimming pool crying. I think he may have shed a couple tears, dude. Just because this dude, like, he invested in me, man. And I appreciate that. I would never forget this dude, and that's like, that brotherhood, man. It's so many cases. It's just not,
it's almost depressing to think about it. It's not depressing. That is depressing that no longer happens. We're not used to that. That's
right.
I think that's why myself and Murph are lucky. Is like I'm less than 4 hours away, so once a month we can get our fix of what is construed as normal to us. So
it immediately comes back to being in the truck when we're in a vehicle traveling somewhere together, because we say all kind of shit that would make fucking some of the worst comedians fucking blush, and it's just second nature.
Right. I would say that's important, man. Like, when you get out the service, you need that, bro. You need your buddies to keep your ass in line. to just go decompress with, to do whatever with, man. It's like, the best thing that ever happened to me was like one of my best friends moving to California. Because prior to that, you know, like I didn't have anybody out in California. You know what I mean? So I was just like, if I had shit, it was just stacking up on my shoulders. There was no release. You know what I mean?
And you're in a bad spot for that in Cali too.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by sensitive. So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of, if you were back in Kentucky, man, you'd be in studio right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, dude, we're not far at all.
Yeah, because I go through Kentucky to get to here. So, whereabouts in Kentucky?
Southeastern Kentucky.
Southeast.
So go by counties down there. Harlan County.
Yeah. So like coal mining country.
Coal mining country.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
Is that anywhere near Paducah or anything?
No, Paducah's far east.
Far east, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good
No kidding, man. I didn't know that. So yeah, I used to go through that area a lot, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know it's coal mining country, but that's all that's all that there is down there was. I mean, most of the mines are closing, so a lot of people go to like the Virginia side now.
Yeah.
For work. Yeah.
So like the whole Justified thing was supposed to be based down there. Brad Paisley did that "You'll Never Leave Harlan Alive" song. Well, it was done before him, but he redid it, made it popular.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't Justified based
Justified
on
was
Justified,
based,
the TV show Justified
Yep.
with Tim Oliphant?
Yep, that's coming back too, by the way.
Yeah.
So I can now finish the final season, so I can catch up for this new show.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, I never saw that shit. Like people talk about it, like when they find out, like I'm from Harlan.
It's good, but it's probably akin to anybody that rides a Harley being asked, "Hey man, have you ever watched Sons of Anarchy?" Like,
yeah,
dude, yeah, or being on a horse and hearing about Yellowstone. It's like, dude, okay,
too busy on a horse.
This shit happened before those shows existed.
So military, a couple of introduction to the civilian sector to small business owner. Tell us about what it's like starting up Liberty RisQ Apparel.
Yeah, well, I work for a couple of small, medium-sized companies. I would say my biggest issue was like, I wouldn't call them idiots because, there's no such thing as a bad leader, right? You can...
I've been close. I've seen some.
If you really think about it,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as a bad leader because you've learned something. You're like, hey, I do not want to be like that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Or I want to be like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Positives on everything.
Yeah.
You just gotta spin it. I was tired of making other people money. I was dealing with people that just did not have any people skills. They were not treating people properly, or they were just so selfish. So starting a small business, yeah, there's a lot of fear. I think that's what probably stops most people. It's like that fear, the fear of the unknown, or the fear of, failing. So I was talking to my cousin about it one day. She was like, just do it. You know what? If you're gonna fail, fail fast. I was like, fuck, that's actually smart. So, if you're gonna fail, fail fast, so you just move on, right? So opening up a small business is actually a lot easier than what most people would really think. You know what I mean? You can do it the hard way, but there's companies out there like LegalZoom or, things like that to do the paperwork side of it for you. But other than that, to get a website up and running, it's pretty simple. I mean, you can knock it out in a day.
Yeah, 2 days over here.
The hardest part was I always knew that I wanted to start my own company. I just didn't know what did I want to do. And, I was like, part of me was afraid to do something that somebody else was already doing. But if you really think about it, it's like, dude, we have Ford, we have Chevy. I mean, we have all these different car manufacturers. Like, you could still do something if somebody else is already in that frame. Like, you don't have to be the first one.
The market's not saturated, right? The room,
Or, find your niche, something like that. So there's many different ways that we could talk ourselves out of not doing shit. But if you really want it, you just got to go after it, and reach out to people who have, chewed that same turf before. So yeah, starting Liberty RisQ, that just came up one day. I was actually trying to find like a Marine hat, but I didn't want one that was like super loud that said like Marine, like this damn big.
A Marine hat that's not loud? Do those exist? I mean, come on. That's kind of our thing.
I wanted something a little bit more, subdued.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find anything. And then, I just got to thinking about it. It's like, well, shit, maybe I just make my own, And that's kind of how Liberty Risk started. Originally, I started I was just going to do hats. And, not t-shirts. And then one of my best friends joined, and he's like, oh, we should do t-shirts. And I was like, yeah, people that buy hats are usually buying a t-shirt, vice versa, right? But my fear with t-shirts was that people are not Googling like veteran t-shirts. Like they already have that brand that they're already going to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not Googling like veteran t-shirt. You're just going to Grunt Style and seeing what t-shirt you like. But like as far as hats, people didn't have that brand loyalty as far as hats. So that's why hats was like important for me to do, because that would bring in more new customers than a t-shirt would, if you will.
Okay.
So it's just that kind of research. I would say, working for those other companies definitely helped me get me a foot ahead of someone who was just starting out without that kind of experience, But yeah, I mean, definitely challenges. Man, supply chain. Fuck, dealing with the supply chain yourself.
And that's before COVID.
Dude, you just like want to fucking choke slam people. And then, with us.
I hear that's frowned upon.
Dealing with designers, you have an idea, you try to explain to them what this ideal is, and then they send you something, and you're like, dude, this is nowhere near what I was thinking, but like trying to articulate designs. So yeah, I mean, definitely there's that communication piece, dealing with people that are not on the same mind frame as you are.
Right.
Like how do I communicate with this fucker? Because if I was talking to another Marine, I could just say this and he would like get it, like move on. So yeah, it definitely has its challenges. The rewards at this point are still greater than the challenges. If it was vice versa, I think I would have to take a deep look and figure something out. But still, it's nowhere near where I want it to be. Like definitely, need.
Well, how long you guys have been? You guys have only been around like a couple of years now, right?
Not even like a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Maybe.
Now,
Yeah.
this clothing line specifically is for United States Marines, right? You're not, you'd made mention to another company earlier, and they kind of are vague. This is specifically for the Marine themselves.
Yeah. We started doing a little stuff for like supporters, if you will, like people that support Marines or our troops. Eventually, we'll open it up, to maybe some of the other folks.
Space Force.
Yeah, that may be last.
I don't know. I tell you what, there's not a whole.
There's probably
I haven't
5
seen a
of
lot
them that would
Space
love to
Force.
have a shirt.
If you made start a limited line of Space Force and just see it, there might be some people out there who I guarantee it, man, just to have it as a novelty.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I mean, it's a legitimate branch of the U.S. military, but people would buy it kind of like a Star Trek shirt or something that somebody would just buy like a novelty. I saw a kid the other day that had he couldn't have been 18, maybe 19 years old, and he was rocking a Nirvana shirt. And I was like,
My daughter has one. She's
a
11.
Nirvana shirt. It's like that's grunge from it's like think novelty. I mean, I think that is when somebody sees something that's out of order. There's not a whole lot of Space Force shirts rolling around, so there's kids in high school and junior high that would buy it as a novel. I would think as a novelty. So I don't know. I see the wheels turning inside the head right now. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you're right. That's the one thing you have to do. Like when you're running a small business, like you always got to do shit like this. Like you just by talking to people, like you learn so much, and you get ideas, right? Ideas can come from anywhere. You just have to have an open mind.
Yeah.
I would say that's the biggest thing. That's one of the. There's so many lessons you can learn. And so many things that you should do when you get out the military. One is always have an open mind. If you think you're the smartest guy in the room, then fucking you're in the wrong room. Leave.
Yep. Legit.
But definitely have an open mind. Learn. So no, that's a good idea, man.
Oh no, I don't take credit for it. I was just thinking I put my mind as a consumer is like, and I buy some off the wall stuff from time to time just to, I don't have one, like a Ren and Stimpy shirt.
Yeah.
It's like, if I see one, it's like, nobody knows what Ren and Stimpy is hardly anymore.
Right.
But back in the day, that was the shit. Or a freaking Beavis and Butthead shirt.
Or a cut off his tweeter. Yeah.
So
But I haven't heard Ren and Stimpy in forever, man.
that's what I'm
Syphil and
saying.
Ollie.
I'm a t-shirt and hat junkie, and if I see something like I bought one, you seen inside the house is like official field moonshine field tester. It's like I don't wear that fucking hat, but damn, it's cool.
I'm gonna buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy. I don't wear the hat. It's like, you know what? I hang it up and there it is. So I don't know, but you definitely know more about it. If you're being even moderately successful, that's tenfold. But that still should be motivation for the people who are listening to this podcast, all 12 of you. That you can do it. So it's but of course you've always been, as far as I've known you, you've been sharp as a tack. So not a bad thing to say about you. So that gives you the edge is you don't have the desire to quit.
So let me ask you this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, and yeah, but I have definitely wanted to quit, and I think, I don't know why you guys do like all the rough marches, but I know the mental, physical health benefits for me to do like the backpacking, fucking hiking, camping trip. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like whenever I get down, I want to quit. I fucking go out. I go for a hike or go backpacking, do something outdoors, and basically just self-reflect. Like think like can I do this? The mental benefits. I think we all need to find something like that, right? We all got to find something that we enjoy, somewhere we can disconnect, but also reconnect with ourselves, and like self-reflect, man. So yeah, I don't have the desire to quit. I have wanted to quit. I keep going, but it all starts with me. You know what I mean? Like, I have my friends that I reach out to, like when I, get in those kind of moods.
Yeah.
But nothing they say or nothing they do can change Jason. It's up to me to fucking change it.
Wanting to quit is definitely a part of human nature, but to keep going past the point of fucking wanting to quit is that definitely sets you aside. Sets you, on a different tier. Everybody, depending on what it is. There's plenty of people who will wake up tomorrow morning and don't want to go to work, who want to quit, but won't because they understand that that cable bill is not going to pay for itself, or that mortgage is not going to roll over for 90 days with no ramifications. So the same thing I'm pretty sure applies to small business is you can't keep the lights in the warehouse with a whole lot of quit. So as long as you keep the quit where it needs to be, which is like not in the forefront about what you're trying to do. So just one man's opinion. So.
I get it. What were you gonna say, Murph? Man, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I cut you off. Sorry, I should have let you respond to Lassiter instead. I jumped in with another question right away. I guess my question is, however far you want to go into this, what are the workings of this like? Do you guys have a facility that you employ people that just for you and that's all you do, or is it like a place you go to like to have your shirts made and you just send in some designs, or however much you want to go into that? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah. So. About a year ago, so we're in 2022, right?
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So the business started in like October of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. At the time, I was operations manager for this outdoor lighting company. Very unhappy at work. The owner was a douche.
Yeah.
Treated people like very poorly or whatever. So we started the company, and at that time we had another Marine that had his own screen printing business down in San Clemente. He was like printing our shirts, and he was going to warehouse them, and he was going to direct ship them. So like kind of like a one-stop shop. So it was perfect. And in the midst of COVID, he packed up, moved to Montana. Can't fault him for that. You know, I would have done the same thing if I was in his shoes. So he sold a lot of his equipment. So then he was outsourcing our shirts. So we just could not survive doing it that way, right? So he was, you know, outsourced to the outsourced. So, you know, I started doing my research on it, and I was like, you know what? Fuck, I think I could do this, you know? I think I could print these shirts. So I was at a point where I was like, I could quit my job and try to do this. Let me see how it works. So that's what I did. I quit my job a few months after we started, like February, March. And then I bought all the screen printing equipment and started doing it myself. Now, like, at first I bought the screen printing equipment, you know, I was doing my research, whatever. So I bought something, I put it all together. It's like, you know what? This is not gonna fucking cut it. You gotta go big or go home. This isn't one of the things that you could do to like cut corners, right? You either do it as a hobbyist or you do it to, you know, to make money. So initially I had the hobbyist equipment, but was not gonna cut it. So I went out, I returned all that shit. I went out and bought some legit equipment, which was a pretty significant startup cost. I was lucky to be in the position I was in to be able to afford that. Not everybody would be able to do that, right? And I get that. There's probably ways that I could have done it to like maybe save money. Hell, I probably could even reach out to the VA to see if I could get anything from them.
So now it'd be like grants or crowdfunding, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's so many different ways. So I got all the equipment, and then what, right? Fucking YouTube trying to do it because, you know, living in California, everything's shut down. Nobody is offering classes or whatever. So I ended up hiring this guy that owns his own screen printing business. He came over to kind of teach me. So he did a really good job. I mean, I learned a lot with that dude. And then, you know, like maybe a month or two later, at this time I wasn't producing a damn thing, right? We were just shipping the products that we had in our inventory. So then a few months later, they started offering classes for screen printing. So I went to one. And then from that point forward, it was just, you know, practice, repetition. So I would just get out there, you know, take one of our existing designs and print shirts, you know, try to figure out like, you know, what I did wrong or what I did right. So to answer your question, as of now, I print the majority of the shirts. There are some shirts that we do come up with, like new designs that we come out with that we will have on like Printify. So only as a tester. So instead of me printing a bunch of them, you know, like we just put it out there. If it sells, then I'll print a bunch of it. If not, then we just leave it on Printify and then, you know, delete it. So graphic designers is the other big thing. So we just crowdsource them using Upwork, Fiverr, word of mouth, people we know. I would say the majority of the things that we do, like we have a company doing our SEO for us. That's been word of mouth. Like, you know, another Marine referred them, and the guy that we go with, you know, the company he works for, like he's a Marine. So we try to stay in the veteran community as much as we can. You know, so everybody that we outsource work to, like if they're a veteran, like that's what I prefer. So we try to do that as much as we can. But like full-time employees, there's only like me and my partner Nick. Everybody else is either like a contractor, if you will,
yeah,
or you know, we just outsource shit to them. So yeah.
So if somebody wanted to submit a design to you, is that something they could do, or is that just like?
Yeah. So dude, that's the other thing that we're looking for. That I'm personally looking into doing. So I'm trying to do it because like I always said, if I open up a restaurant, I will let people submit their recipes, and if I picked up their recipes, then, you know, like I'll have it on my menu for a month, and then they get royalties from that. So now I have that person being a fucking salesman for a restaurant.
That's awesome, dude.
T-shirt business, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how I would go about doing that. Like if somebody submitted us a design and we like it and we sold it, like, hey, do I give them a percentage of each sale? So I'm looking at doing that. If somebody came to me from watching this podcast, like, hey, Jason, I saw this on your podcast, I want to take advantage, I would do it for them. So
yeah, because I would like to think we have some really creative Marines that might watch us, or just individuals in general. Marine themed, it might say, hey man, I got something I think you guys would like.
Yeah.
You know,
Like a FTA logo on a sweet ass
I mean,
shirt.
we can do it any way they like. Like we can just pay them outright for the design, or we can do it royalties based. Right now, we've been paying people just outright for the design.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of designs we pay for and we don't even use because, like, you know, the way it is like, you know, you can get a design and you get 3 revisions, and after that, you know, you're kind of stuck with it. So like going back to what I was saying earlier, it's like, you know, sometimes working with these people, you know, communication piece doesn't go well. So the idea that you have doesn't really come out to shit on paper, you know.
okay. So if somebody wanted to come to you and say, hey, I want front to back a US made everything, shirt, everything, is that something you can facilitate too?
Yeah, we can, but you know what? That's getting increasingly difficult.
Right.
Because like the shirts, although a lot of people say they're American made, they're not.
Really?
And you can just look at the supply chain issues. Like, you know, it's hard to find certain shirts right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, even the American made companies, they're complaining about supply chain issues from stuff coming from China. So they're obviously getting something from China. Like,
Yeah.
what are they getting from China? Like, who knows? You know, is it the, you know, material to make the shirt? But yes, there are companies out there that are 100% American made. You'll probably pay a little bit more, but it's definitely doable. I only use ink that's made in America. So everything that I have to physically print the shirt is American made. So like my printing press is American made. My flash dryer, my conveyor dryer, and my ink, all the materials that I use to print is all American made.
Okay.
And I didn't really do that necessarily on purpose. It just came out that way. You know?
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of people that'll get behind it just for that.
Yeah. So the only thing that I don't have would be the physical material, the shirt.
The shirt itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shirt itself. Yeah. But yeah.
So what's the we're in 22 now. Where are you looking to be at in 23? Looking to have more employees, or looking to get into more gear, like, you know, stickers or silky shorts, or
Yeah. Probably
Silkies.
different types of.
I'm gonna buy some
Different
silkies.
types of gear. You know, I would be, so in 2023, 2024, I would say I don't necessarily care about having more employees. I would say I want to have different gear. I want to be able to support things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody say, Jason, I'm taking a bunch of veterans on this fucking wilderness walk. Like, dude, I don't even want to think twice about it. Like, all right, bro, here's some shirts, here's some hoodies, here's some bags, you know, whatever. To be able to support other people is where I would, is where I want to be 23. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely, because we do, as you know, we're trying to get into more of community outreach, especially veteran outreach, and we'll put on a couple of events. Maybe later on in the future, we can partner up, because we do a lot of stuff with Team RWB out of Clarksville.
Yeah.
And in some of these events, we offer, you know, swag, T-shirts, hats, stickers, that kind of stuff. Maybe that's something we can partner with in the future, you know, as we both grow. So
Yeah,
I think that'd be fun.
Like, it doesn't, you know, like, you guys are my brothers, so like, you guys are doing something, it doesn't hurt to reach out. If I can do it, I'll do it for you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I can't. But
We got something kicking around in March. We talked about earlier in the show. It's basically a fundraiser. It's an endurance event. It lasts about 18 to 24 hours. I think about 18, 24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an overnight event, but all the proceeds go toward everybody who pays to be a participant. It's $35 a pack, and all the proceeds go to Vietnam Veterans of America Foundation. So, which is a group that, as you know, you've been in long enough. The Vietnam vets do not get their, the appropriate amount of kudos about, what they
their fair share.
So, and especially, their families who are affected. Everybody, talks about all the other, and recently they've actually done a lot better. So we appreciate that. But it's something that I know WRF is doing something, for the Chosen Reservoirs, Korean. World War One. I mean, World War Two. That's always the thing. You know, a flu. You know, eventually, you know, RAF 1 and 2. You know, Iraq, Afghanistan, they'll get their, you know, wait their turn. So, but, you know, we all appreciate it because that's the now that we live in. So going back to, you know, the mid 60s to the early 70s, you know, unfortunately, it seems like it's a time period that was forgot. So that's something that myself and Murph are going to be doing in March. So maybe we'll talk offline, you know, after the interview and see what we can do. I mean, nothing on a large scale, just we'll see what we can do, and we'll holler about it later. So the 23s, I mean, definitely 22 and 23, we're definitely excited to see where you're going with that. So, I mean, it looks good. We like that. You sent us actually a couple of t-shirts that still in the closet today, and I've washed them. They hold up well. I've done everything from ruck to PT to sleep in them, and they hold up really well. So
I like that they're well, like you said, they're totally unique, right? We used to joke about BAMSIS and OSMIAC and things like that being used and things like that, or it's more of a novelty. The veterans, the shirt you're wearing right now, the veterans hoodie, that's I don't know if we can. There we go. Now we can see it. Kind of based off the Friends logo, right? That's dude. That's fantastic. Friends has seen a resurgence, and if you can make it about veterans, fucking A. Why wouldn't you? That was a genius idea.
So is there any more knowledge you want to hit us with? Because we do want to keep you on for a segment of what we call, I don't know, I'm sure you listened to the podcast before, it's called Runaway Gun, and usually Murph runs that until I reach up and break the belt. But we definitely want you to be a part of, you know, what is you know, Staff Sergeant Kyle's Runaway Gun issues. So, but if you have anything else you want to talk about Liberty Risk, I mean, that's the point of it. We want to make sure that you get that in. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, you know, with you know, like as far as Liberty Risk, like, you know, we want to support veterans. If there's a veteran out there that's thinking about starting his own business, you know, that wants to chat with me, fucking call me, you know, hit me up, message me, do whatever it takes. Like, don't be afraid to, you know, dip your toes into it. I think fear is what stops the most of us.
Did we already add you as a group expert on the page? We need to. Do you have any issue being added as an expert to the page on starting a small business?
No, I don't have an issue with that. You know, and if I don't know something, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. If I don't know, I don't know. You know.
That sounds like what Terry said, which I thought was the perfect intro. Is you know, I'm actually kicking myself for not thinking about it now. I thought I already did, and I feel like a jackhole for not doing it. So yeah, we definitely add you there, and you know, do a little quick introduction about you know, being a small business owner, because a lot of people think about doing it, and there's more people who, you know, honestly, there's more people who fail at it than succeed. Otherwise, I'd have my own business too. So, but the biggest part, like you said, if you're gonna fail fast. And
it's okay with failing. I mean, like, if you think of every successful business owner, like, look how many businesses they have failed. You know.
If everybody could do it, kind of like being a Marine. If everybody could do it, it wouldn't be the few and the proud. So,
but no, as far as Liberty Risk goes, man, like, hey, like Murph was talking about, like, if you got some designs, you know, shoot it my way, and you'll definitely get the proper credit for it. We could do whatever you want. If there's somebody out there that wanna partner up supporting the cause, you know, it's like, hey, if somebody out there is like, hey, you know, like, I got some extra cash laying around, and like, I want to buy t-shirts for an event, you know, like, we could do that too. So there's so many different things that we could do. But you know, the worst thing we can do is not do nothing, right?
Yeah. So, and all of it, and we're in the same mindset. That everything we do is for, you know, not only, you know, veteran outreach, but you know, show the proper respects and help other veterans, but to bring, you know, put a spotlight, you know, in the civilian sector. But you know, these people exist, and the more you know about them, the more you would appreciate them. Everybody's, you know, said thank you for your service, and we appreciate that. But you know, to have the history of it is something, or having the knowledge, and I think that's why we like Go Ruck events, because Jason McCarthy and his cadre make sure that, I mean, you go there and you pay a physical, I mean, you put in your work physically and mentally, But during that 5-hour or 15-hour or 24-hour event, I think that's why we like it so much. It's more of it's a teaching thing too. We go out there to do it in case we have anything to add to it, or just to put in every once in a while. We feel like it's time for us to pay our respects too, even as veterans, to pay respect to other veterans.
Right.
So whether it's 9/11 or Bella Wood is to never forget. So cool stuff.
So real quick, if somebody would like to submit a design, is it like a napkin sketch? Do they have to give you a certain format, or is it just, hey man, this is what I got, I drew it out, what do you think?
I mean, we can do it either way, a napkin sketch, because not everybody has the programs that I
Right.
need. Right. So like if I can do it on a napkin, we can accept that.
Cool.
If you do have the programs, Adobe Illustrator is probably the best. But if not, I can take a napkin and convert it to Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
Or I will pay somebody to do it.
There you go. Yeah.
Big thing, man. There's certain things you can do as a small business owner, and there's certain things that you just gotta quit wasting your fucking time and put to somebody and give it to somebody else.
Oh, there's large companies, major shoe and apparel manufacturers that contract out, certain parts of their labor.
Yeah.
Whether it's where this warehouse, software, or it's warehouse, putting T-shirts on a hanger. They contract it out, so which is really cool.
Well, the reason I asked
man, I've been down those rabbit holes trying to figure something out, and it's like, dude, for me, it's like the thing I did is like associated a dollar amount to myself, right? For Liberty Risk owner, if I'm going to associate, I think I'm worth $10 an hour. If this job is going to take me 15 hours to do, but I can hire somebody on, Upwork for $10, it's stupid to waste my time to do it, So you got to figure out what your time is worth, because time is worth a lot.
Time is money.
And a lot of people do forget to pay themselves. You're right. I've got a friend that
forget, yeah.
she started a bakery, and she's like, man, I haven't paid myself ever. And she just started. I got a friend that's the knife maker, and he's like, well, I've got a lot of friends that are knife makers, but one that's real close to home, and he's like, I had to start assigning a dollar value to my time because I was undercharging people because I was afraid to charge for myself. Yeah.
That's the point I was getting at. You got to assign a dollar value to yourself, for your time. Because otherwise, man, you're gonna take advantage of yourself, and it's at the end of the day, that's not
The last person you want to screw over is yourself.
The last person you want to screw over is yourself.
Because by default, you're screwing over your wife or your kid or whoever else depends on you.
Goes down the chain. Yep, trickle down.
Yeah.
So
it goes down.
So the last person you want to fuck is yourself. So
no, there's probably a few poor people that
so
want to fuck less than me.
If somebody says go fuck yourself, say nah. I choose not to. Cool. Well, all right, man. I think I definitely want to get Jace on this freaking runaway gun. So every segment we do a runaway gun, and I'll let Murph. He picks 2, maybe a subject, but no more than 3 before I reach up and grab
I have a
it
lot.
out.
So.
He has a lot that just little pet peeves that would bother anywhere from people who use chapstick to use an umbrella, wear flip flops or open toe shoes. It's just especially with nasty.
And we've already done all these, so this is bringing back problems.
There's no quick game. I like it.
But he has a metric fuck ton of them.
Do you want to go ahead and let him start then? If he's got something?
I want him to get an example. Murph's going to give you one. This is his runaway gun.
Well, I don't know if you have the same problems I have. So I might say something. You're like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with that? I mean, who knows?
No, we don't always agree.
No, not always. God, what was the one yesterday that came up? We were at a bar drinking for a tap release.
Man, I don't know.
Heated seats.
Oh, I like heated seats in a vehicle. Murph's he thinks they're stupid.
I think it's one of the biggest, softest examples of the pussification of America ever.
My future wife has heated seats in her truck, and I love them.
I fucking love them too. I don't know why you hate them. So here's my thing about the heated seats.
All right, let's hear it.
If we have heated seats, let's say I usually run Coke. I always Coke. You may be always hot.
I thought he said ran Coke. I was like, are you a mule?
When I run Coke, I like heated seats.
So the best of both worlds is you can have on the air conditioning, and I just turn on my heated seats, right? So you're good, I'm good. We're both fucking good, But yeah, I understand what your point. Your fear is that heated seats is making us weaker, right?
I think it's an example of us being weaker. I don't know that it's yeah for sure.
And I totally disagree. I think for me it's, you know what? Fine. I don't have heated seats in my truck. Well, when I get in Leslie's truck and she said, "You want the heated seats on?" I go, "Fuck yeah, I want the heated seat on." No, not in the summertime, but nice and good on my Lord. I guess maybe too is like I'm a little bit, we'll say a little bit older than Murph, but as like
a lot bit, yeah.
Like, you know, old people like shit, so it's like
no, I definitely. But here's the thing. Like, I think, you know, I like my comfort shit, but I also have to like embrace the suck. So I think you guys get both of the best worlds too. I mean, you guys out there doing that go ruck. I mean, that shit, you guys suck it up, right? It's not.
Yeah, we know how to embrace the suck. That's what I'm saying. It's
the
like,
thing is like you got those pansies out there that don't do anything. They're just like comfort. They gotta have all that shit. They gotta have the heated seats. They gotta have, you know, fucking umbrella. I fucking can't stand umbrella.
Fucking A. That's on my list. Did we do that?
We agree. Yeah, he said it already, and we agree on that. I keep umbrellas in my truck for like the women in my life, like my daughter, my granddaughter. But there's 4, like, and I will walk across. It's like, I'm gonna stand out here in the rain. I'm gonna open up this damn umbrella. I'm gonna walk 30 damn feet, and then I gotta shake the umbrella out and walk around with it. You know what? I'll turn my hat around, and then I'll just move quick to the door.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Or at work, we have a special place where they have bags for your umbrella. Your wet umbrella, you can store them in bags that look like those like flower vase bags. And you throw them in there and you can carry them into your office and not be wet the rest of the day. I'm like, dude, it's a fucking umbrella. It's made to be wet. Shake the thing out and move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm proud to say I've never owned an umbrella. I don't even keep one in the car for those situations. And I probably should, you know, like, you're right. You know, like, what the hell? I got my mom in my car and it's raining one day and I don't have an umbrella. I'm a dick, right?
Yeah. I don't want to hear about, I don't suffer from that affliction, but I don't want to hear about wet hair or it's raining. It's like, maybe I want to walk to this shop, to that other shop.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't do it because there's rain. I was like, you know what? Some things you have that even when you go to the field, you'll add, you know what? I like hot coffee. So guess what, campers? I'm bringing a jet boil. I'm not going to wait for the freaking damn hot wets to show up. I'm going to go over here in the corner and make my own damn coffee because I have this comfort item. And if I take an umbrella and I put it over my girl's head and it keeps her from complaining about her hair getting wet, you know what? I call that a solid investment. So give us one more. You get one more, and then one thing. You've seen the way it goes, or the line we're looking at. What gets on Kyle's nerves that other people would probably think, hey, that's not a bad thing?
What gets on my nerves is...
You can't say chapstick.
And you guys might not fucking have this shit, but in California, you know, fucking being a gentleman does not exist. Like, holding doors open for a fucking...
There's no chivalry.
Grocery store. I want to fucking choke slam every little punk ass kid that doesn't do it. Especially if they're like an elderly lady. Dude, if you don't hold the door open for an elderly lady, then you might as well be dead to me. Like, if I go to jail, it's going to be because I choke slammed somebody for not doing that.
I like it.
That's perfect.
So, actually, just today, I seen Johnny get up 2 different times for a woman coming outside of Dunkin' Donuts, going to open the door for her, to carry her gear out that she just bought, or, you know, her donuts and coffee.
Yeah, hands were full.
Yeah, hands were full. Her man was outside playing on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this until I didn't know they were together because she had walked in without him. He came in later. He walked out before her. She walked out by herself carrying all that, and Johnny opened the door for her because he was closer. Also, you got the door open for
a couple of kids,
but you made them wait for their dad because they wanted to go out right then.
Yeah, they about to rush the door. So
you'll get out when the dad's ready. So that was pretty cool. So yeah. I agree, dude. 100%. I agree on that.
Yeah, man. I was coming out the gym. You know, I got my headphones in. I'm like doing stuff, and there's like a coffee shop right next door, and I see like the door just like moving. I'm like, it's not windy. Like, and then I get next to the door and I look inside the coffee shop and there's like an old lady and she's trying to like push the door with her walker. So I'm like, shit. Open the door and there's a dude looking at the woman with like his three teenage boys. They're all sitting right behind this old lady.
Like waiting on her to hurry up?
Bro, it took everything in my willpower to just walk away. I stared at that dad for like a good 20 seconds, man. Like I was heated, like, and it was pretty packed. And I wasn't trying to create a scene. But I do regret not fucking yanking him up and saying something. Like I should have just said something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think his stare is good enough. I think his kids needed to see a teaching moment there.
Yeah. Do you think they got it with the stare down, or do you think they're?
I don't think the kids saw the stare down.
Okay.
Yeah, they were too busy in their cell phones.
Yeah, like he's. You know, most
Some people just
oblivious.
don't want to know, man. Like it doesn't even dawn on them what they don't know.
There's no more situational awareness. That would be my pet peeve. There's people just, whether they're driving or walking, like you said, they're so engaged or whatever. Even if it's not a cell phone or another freaking smart device, it's just they're so engaged in their own world that they don't see two little children going up to the door with a handful of donuts or they don't see somebody trying to cross the street. They're just so busy. Or when you're driving down the freeway, is like what is a tractor trailer obviously trying to get over. He's had his signal on, but
everybody wants to hurry up and get in front of him.
So no, I slow everybody down, flash my lights at them, and let them get in front. I mean, dude, I'm not doing. The only way I'm gonna get there any faster if I double my speed. So if I went from 70 to 140, I might be there 5 minutes faster.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I feel like I'm the only. I thought I was the only one that believes in that shit. It's like, dude, like, California, man. Everybody feels like, what they have going on is more important than what everybody else has going on.
It's the golden rule thing, right? Do unto others. So
yeah, it's like, dude, like you're no more important than everybody else, but they act like it, and I can't stand that. Like I can't wait to leave this state.
do you think? Okay, so I always worry with this segment because I love the segment because there are a lot of things on a daily basis that piss me off. Not piss me off like ruin my day, but you just go, come on, dude, just be a little better. Like suck less, pick up, do 1% better than you were yesterday. That's what you need to do. But do you ever feel like maybe because of the combat veteran thing, you realize that, hey, slowing down to let this other guy in is not the worst thing that's going to happen to you today. I know the worst thing that's going to happen to you, and it ain't this. Do you think maybe it's got some perspective added to it because of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have experienced the worst. Like nothing will probably ever get that bad.
I hope we've experienced the worst. Yeah.
I hope not, and sort of like the same lines of that, Murph, is I tell people, it's like, people are like, oh, I'm going to give this 100%, like bull fucking shit, motherfucker. You don't know what your 100% is. How the fuck are you going to give 100%? You've never been challenged to give something 100%. Like maybe if your child was in danger, you had to run and go get them, like you gave 100% of your effort. But other than that, like how do we know what 100% is? Like veterans, you probably know what your 100% is because you fucking had to lift the fucking Hump up, or some shit like that, So you've given 100%. But the average person, I feel like they don't know what their 100% is because they haven't challenged themselves to that degree.
It's a good point, dude. I absolutely agree.
But yeah, I think being a combat veteran has definitely opened my eyes to like, shit really isn't that bad. If this motherfucker cut the line, like I don't need to fucking choke slam him. You know what? Fuck him.
I want to, but I won't because I'm a bigger man.
Yeah, bigger man. Which is it's tough sometimes. It's tough, but I think that one saying that we had in Iraq, like be nice to everybody, but have a plan to kill everybody, or whatever that saying was.
Yeah.
Kind of think that in the civilian world. You're like, hey, you know what? I know I can fuck this dude up, but for what? Why am I going to do it? To spend a night in a slammer, or to just make myself feel better. We know that in the back of our minds, so it's like we don't have to like act on it. So
yeah, what was that? Be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Wasn't that what it was?
Kill everybody in the room.
Something like that.
General Mathis.
Yeah, Mathis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like if a lot of cops took that demeanor, they will be able to de-escalate the situation better, right?
Okay.
Yeah, if a lot of people just understood if it's not bleeding or on fire, it's probably not an emergency.
Yep.
Right.
So
yeah.
And even then, maybe. So then you fall into the slowest smooth is fast, and then but totally agree with you have no idea what it's like to give 100%. If you give 100%, there's absolutely positively nothing else to give at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of the hour. So you have nothing left in the tank.
Leave it all out on the mat. Yep.
Leave it all out there. Yeah.
Cool. Well, with that, I think I'll just reach up and unless y'all have anything else, because this is my
got something
favorite
else,
part of
I'm
the
good with
show
that.
because
I like this because this was like a talking guns type thing.
Yeah, it was a talking guns runaway gun. So
Yeah, it's off the cuff. I like it, man. Just like whatever fucking.
it is my favorite part. My favorite part of the podcast because I just get entertained. Murph entertains the shit out of me on a daily basis, but I finally get to look and get it recorded from the mind of Murph. So good deal, man. Well, man, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and we'll let you take off. And I know you're a busy man, and you got stuff to do. We'll talk, later offline. Yeah. Definitely keep in touch, either through the page or this. I'm pretty sure I have your number as well. Just drop us a line and let us know how you're doing or how we can help you promote.
If we can ever help, reach out, holler at us. It was great talking to you, and I hope we get to do it again soon and get to see that your grand plans have come to fruition.
Yeah, we'll start adding. We'll add your link. We'll add your website, your link to where
plug your stuff on the page too. I mean, feel free.
Yeah, and we'll definitely add it to the podcast.
And I'll plug your guys' stuff on my page too. So
good deal. Good deal.
Thank you, sir.
We can definitely do that. That's an easy day, man. Help each other out. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. All right, buddies. We love you, man.
Enjoy Utah, bro.
Love you guys too, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate everything.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
It was awesome. It was good stuff. I think the only thing we need to
stride once he started.
Yeah, I could tell actually by the inflections on the mic that we made them comfortable from thing. I think the only thing we have to do before we wrap up our end is people look forward to. We'll make a video for the 2-minute gear check. This week's gear check will be on the Eagle's Nest.
We're still recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick on that because we had talked about it last episode. We had hinted on the 2-minute gear check, and then we did an extended 2-minute gear check. I think we got a lot of good hits on that. I appreciate it. If anybody's interested in it, reach out. We're always here to expand on what we talked about there. But that's kind of why we did that. We're going to set it up as a separate video. So Johnny's not going to talk so much about his piece of gear that he's reviewing now. It's going to be a separate video. And there's a lot of, we'll go ahead and say it. There's a lot of gear queers out there that just love their gear. Mm-hmm. And maybe some people just want to tune in for that and don't give a damn what we're talking about otherwise. If you want to do that, cool.
Yeah, we're going to start putting that out like a week later, week or a half.
We should space it out about a week later, but we can record it obviously today and then throw it out there in about a week. I think last time we did it a day later, and it seemed like it worked pretty good, or pretty well.
Yeah. And this one's going to be on the Eagle's Nest camping hammer from Eno with the slap straps. Basically, we'll do a demonstration on how to set that up real quick, down and dirty, super light, super great piece of gear. For me, I don't, spending some of years sleeping on the ground, I'm not above that. But if you can get,
above that if you're gonna hammer.
Yeah. But speaking of being above, is most people who inside the industry or survival always say whenever you get a chance, get off the ground, and that's the perfect way to get off the ground and get a good night's rest and not have to carry a lot of shit with you as well.
It's an amazing piece of gear, and we both actually were using them, I think, without even each other knowing it, and then just holy shit, you swing too? Yeah, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
And not that kind of swinging, but totally more comfortable kind of swinging.
Yeah, I was going to say a slap strapper, but that sounds dirty too.
Strapper? That's a strange thing.
That sounds dirty too. I think that's it.
Is that about it? Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, you want to touch on the Rubicon?
I want to hit on that real quick, but is there anything else?
No, I think we covered everything.
I put it at the board for people that don't know. We write this shit down because otherwise we'll lose it.
Yeah, I do want to talk about Team Rubicon. Since you have a good drop on that, and then I think we can give that a wrap. Like I said, folks, I know we're running a little long today. We appreciate you staying with us for this long, but we feel like it was a good show with a lot of good information. So thanks for hanging out with us. And Murph, tell us about Team Rubicon.
Okay, so we talked about Team Rubicon last time. If you weren't here for that, they are a non-government organization started by some Marines after an issue in Haiti years ago. I don't have the notes in front of me, but I can give you the gist of it. But anyway, so Good Works and our friend Becca on Instagram, she came through with the idea that the area in Kentucky recently that was
Bowling Green?
Bowling
Bowling
Green.
Green.
Well, Bowling Green and all the surrounding areas that were hit by the tornado down there prior to Christmas.
Pretty much the whole mid part of the state.
Yeah,
So,
Team Rubicon responded very quickly, as they always do, to that area. As always, I mean, they go out and, buy supplies as needed, shovels, gloves, anything you need to assist in cleanup, they do that. So this is a benefit raffle with Goodworks, Tim Galloway of Goodworks and his boogie bags, and that's going to actually go live on Wednesday. Last time we talked about it. If you want to know more about it, go back and watch that segment. Anyway, Becca is a member of Team Rubicon, as am I, but she's more active because I just am not active in it yet. So anyway, go back and check that out. There'll be a raffle with a boogie bag, which is, I don't have one handy. Basically, I don't want to call it.
They've seen it before,
bag,
though.
That's a disservice. We've done a gear review on it. It's just a way to keep EDC shit handy. Anything you need close by, it'll keep it right there with you.
actually, go back to the, not this last episode,
2
episodes back, and I think at the 46-minute mark, something like that, 46, talks specifically about that piece of gear. Great piece of gear.
So you can go in there. Tim's going to throw some stuff in there. I think there's a knife in there. There's a boogie bag, some odds and end pouches, some awesome coffee that's local to Kentucky. Just really cool stuff, and you can get in on a raffle. I think it's like $10 or $20 a ticket usually. And if you win all that shit for $10 or $20. If you don't win, you just donated that $10 or $20 to the relief efforts in Kentucky for the folks that were affected by that horrible situation.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll add a link to that. It will go live Wednesday, and I think it usually runs about a week. So if you're interested in it, you have about a week to get in on it. And it's definitely a great cause. Awesome companies all around. Team Rubicon's awesome. Goodworks is awesome. I can't plug any of them hard enough. So that's what she said.
That's what she said.
Yep.
And with that, hey, good stuff. I think that's be a wrap. Just remember to check out Liberty RisQ Apparel. That's Jason Kyle's clothing, I think hats and t-shirt manufacturer. Yeah. And again, that's Liberty RisQ Apparel. You can find them online. Again, always like and subscribe our YouTube page, and make sure you get those alerts that when we're on, so you can listen and make fun of us.
And if you have any questions for Kyle or any of these people that we're talking about, you can reach out to us or them directly.
Or on you can find it on the Facebook page or the group page where Kyle is going to be a group expert for being a small business owner, how to start a small business. That is good stuff. And with that, folks, we appreciate your time, and we'll see you next time.
We gotta go film a hammock hang.
We got to go fill a hammock hang. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
All right, cheers, folks.
Later.